Am I? Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Jai Jai Radhe, Śrī Radhe Jai Jai Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe. Forgive us for the break. Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Jai Jai 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 Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Jai Jai 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 Radhe. Bolo Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe, Śrī Radhe Gopal Bhajaman Śrī Radhe. So, we see in many of the paintings that we grew up with that Lord Nrsingadev has a peacock feather on his crown. Matsya Avatar has a peacock feather on his crown. I've never seen a peacock feather on Vaman Dev. Kurma Avatar has a peacock feather on his crown. Varahadev has a peacock feather on his crown. Even Mathura Krishna in the jail cell of King Kamsa has a peacock feather on his crown. And pictures of Dwarkadish. In Dwarka, he has a peacock feather on his crown. Vishnu and Nārāyaṇa. Vishnu with Lakshmi lying on Anantashesh has a peacock feather in his crown. Technically, according to Rasa Vichar, this is not correct. Only in Vrindavan does Krishna wear a peacock feather, and there's a whole history of a pastime how that manifested. Only in Vrindavan, and he actually wears it on the side facing Srimati Radhika. It's symbolic of him offering himself toward her. He wears it on his head because inside the peacock feather, if you know how to see it, Srila Gurudev was trying to show us. There's a photo of Gurudev trying to show us. We were in Varshana. He would say, Radhika's name is in every peacock feather. And we're looking, how do we see it? But he was seeing it and he was showing, look, it's here, it's here. There's a beautiful interaction that we had with him. So, Shyamarani Didi asked this question to Srila Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja. We know that Srila Prabhupada is an Uttam Mahabhagavat, an eternal associate of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. And from the vision of those who know that truth, our Gurudev said, I know who he is. He is serving Radha and Krishna just like Sri Rupa Manjari. In the same way, similar form. And this is our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, which means he knows. So why did he do that? Shyamarani Didi was asking this question to Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja. We understand from the perspective of Rasa Vichar, that means from the perspective of Ras, that only Krishna in Vrindavan wears a peacock feather. No other manifestation outside of Vrindavan wears a peacock feather. So how is it that in all of these paintings, all of the different forms of the Lord are wearing peacock feathers? Please explain this. Please reconcile it for me. So Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja explained very, very beautifully that the Ishtadev, the worshipful, beloved Lord of our Srila Prabhupada, is Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan. Because he's seeing his Ishtadev everywhere. This is what Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita states, that the pure devotees don't exactly see this material world or the workings of this world. Rather, they see their Ishtadev, their own worshipful or beloved Lord, present within everything. And so, from this perspective, he's looking, yes, Keshava, Krishna himself, has manifested this pastime form. Keshava Dritta, Meena Sharira. Keshava Dritta, Kurma Sharira. Keshava Dritta, Varaha Rupa. Keshava Dritta, Narahari Rupa. Keshava Dritta, Vamana Rupa. It's Krishna himself manifesting in all of these pastime forms. So to bring to maintain the flow in the minds and hearts of all of those who would see, they should understand that this is not something separate, but actually this is the manifestation of Krishna himself for that pastime form. Keshava Drita Rama Sharira. So all of these forms are manifestations of Keshava, Krishna himself. And so Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja explained it like that, for a particular purpose. Like our Srila Prabhupada explained why he has installed Krishna Balaram in Krishna Balaram Mandir at the temple here in Vrindavan. He said to show the world that they are non-different from Nitai and Gauranga. We just sang that today. Brajendra Nandana Jay Shachi Shuta Hoilo She Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Krishna himself has appeared in this world as Sachinandan Gaurahari, and Baladev himself has appeared in this world as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And it is by their mercy that this whole Krishna consciousness movement has been spread throughout the world. So to show everyone that it is non-different, they are non-different from Krishna Balaram. So he said, I have established Krishna Balaram in the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. But who is Prabhupada's worshipful, eternal worshipful Lord? Radha Shyama Sundar. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. He wanted to go there at the end. This is what his request was. And of course we know that that's where he is and serving there. Sorry, what was the song this is from? What song? Oh, no, this is the second part. The first video somehow cut off. Raghava Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. And I was just quoting your Guru Maharaj, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, about not disturbing the Leela of Krishna as he's experiencing Radha's bhav as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we keep trying to push onto him and pressure onto him. You are Krishna, you are Krishna, you are Krishna. At that time, when people would say that, he would cover his ears and say, don't say this, don't say that. It was actually creating a disturbance for him. So what is the mood of pure bhakti? What is the mood of pure bhakti? Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. What is favorable for Krishna means for what his happiness and his pleasure is. So we don't want to disturb his ras by trying to superimpose upon him something that will create any disturbance. Demons do that, but we don't want to do that. The devotees always want to enhance and nourish what Krishna wants to experience, even at their own expense. Ashlishyava paradatam penashtumang adarshanan marmahatam karotuva yatatata viridhatu lampato mat prananatas tusa eva naparaha. Even if I have to suffer so that you are happy, no matter. It won't change the nature of my love for you. There is no condition for it. You can do whatever you like with me. Bhaktivedānta Thakur confirms this. Maro bi rakho bi jo ichha tohar. You can kill me or protect me as you like. But I am always your eternal servant. Nitya dasa tua prati adhikar. This is their mood. They don't want to disturb the pastimes of the Lord. They only want to serve the pastimes of the Lord. They want to somehow assist. What makes Krishna the most happy? Srila Prabhupada asked. What makes him the most happy? More than anything? Radharani. So our function is how to push Radharani to Krishna, because that is what makes Krishna the most happy. It's not about me and my happiness and my pleasure. If it was, then it wouldn't be pure bhakti. It would be karma mishra bhakti. Means I'm doing some activity to serve the Lord with some desire for some other result. This is karma mishra bhakti, mixed with fruitive, I want something in return. This is not pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is what is favorable for Krishna, what is for his happiness, what is for his pleasure, what is for his benefit. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam. Without any other desire other than what is favorable for Krishna's pleasure, happiness and benefit. This is pure bhakti. No, Raghava Prabhu, I was telling that Shyamarani Didi was instructed by our Srila Prabhupada to paint peacock feathers on all of the avatars. And so, after hearing from Guru Dev and understanding Rasa Tattva, Rasa Vichar for so many years, it created a little bit of a conundrum, some complication. Well, if Krishna, only Braj Krishna wears a peacock feather, so why am I painting peacock feathers in all of the avatars? Why am I painting it on Mahavishnu and on Nārāyaṇa and on Dwarkadish Krishna and Mathura Krishna in the jail cell of Kamsa? I'm painting it on Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasingha. You look at all the paintings. So when any kind of conflict comes and reconciliation is needed, understanding that this Acharya and this Acharya are both transcendental Mahabhagavats, and there is no flaw or mistake in their actions or their teachings or instructions. But how can I reconcile? Then she approached Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja and asked this question. And he reconciled it by stating that Srila Prabhupada wanted to show that actually it is Keshava himself, Krishna, manifesting in all of these pastime forms. But so that we could have an understanding that ete changsa kala pungsa, Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. It is Krishna who is manifesting in all of these different forms for pastime's sake, that he's showing, he's maintaining a flow of seeing his Ishtadev everywhere. So Keshava Dritta Narahari Rupa, Keshava Dritta Meena Sharira, Keshava Dritta Mats Kurma Rupa, Varaha Rupa, like this. All are actually the manifestation, pastime forms of Krishna, but his focus is Krishna. So Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Maharaj reconciled it like this. So I was just sharing that. Wow. Oh, Ram Prasad Das, I was just wondering how you are. I was thinking about you. I was wondering if you're okay. And every time I look down, I see like all of my favorite people here. Look at Ajay Jangid, Raghava Devaki. Oh my God. So many. And Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj was very strong on this point. Don't disturb the Leela of Mahaprabhu. So we see this, and then we see in other places, even in all the temples, they put peacock feathers on him. So this reconciliation was necessary. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Maharaj very expertly reconciled. I remember once upon a time we were in Fiji, and Srila Gurudev took a phone call. And it was quite a long one. And then afterward, when he finished that phone call, he was sitting there in the home of Kanti Punja Prabhu. And Sudevi and I were there. And he said, Guru, that is Guru. He said, Guru can reconcile anything. And that was quite an interesting thing. And just at this moment, I'm having a little bit of an understanding of that Guru is this mercy, condensed mercy form of Krishna. So this is also aghatana ghatana patiyasi shakti, the power to make the impossible possible. Or I believe it was our Srila Prabhupada who wrote something about every impossibility is reconciled within himself. It's just like unfathomable. But anyhow, it is written, it is spoken. So if we can somehow reconcile that every irreconcilable impossibility is reconciled within himself, and we can have some idea of it, then we would understand that that is God or Krishna. He can reconcile anything. So Gurudev said that Guru can reconcile anything. This is the function of Guru. So I just wanted to share that in context of what we were speaking before, because of this peacock feather tattva. Krishna feels so indebted to that peacock who offered his own best, most beautiful thing to Krishna, that Krishna took that and placed it on his head. But he also places it on his head because it has the name of Radhika in it. And he's showing to the whole world, Radhika Premier Guru, Ami Shishyanata. Radhika is my Guru of Prem, and I'm simply her dancing pupil. She makes me dance in various novel ways. So Srila Prabhupada actually wrote or spoke. My father sent me the quote many times. He just thought it was so fascinating that in Vrindavan, Krishna simply becomes a plaything in the hands of the gopis. This is a speciality of Vrindavan, that Krishna is completely controlled by the love of the Brajavasis, especially the gopis, and more than anyone, only Srimati Radhika, completely controlled by her love and affection. So he sees her as his Guru of Prem. So now we're going to call out for the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Aghatana Ghatana Patiyasi Shakti. This will be part of what we will always remember from these daily classes, just like the page number of Damodarāṣṭakam. I'll try to find the exact quote for you. I think it was in an old Back to Godhead magazine. When Facebook removed the notes section, I lost a lot of really good notes, very pertinent things, but I will check in the messages that my father sent me, and I'll endeavor to share it with you. Simply a plaything. And the other one was when he was saying that in Vrindavan, Krishna is the consort of Srimati Radharani. So instead of saying that she is his consort, he made it her as prominent, and Krishna was her consort. And this actually flows according to the vision of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj remembers when they went to Radha Kund for Parikrama. That time they saw so many people doing Dandavat Parikrama, full on Dandavat Parikrama of Radha Kund Shyama Kund. And the devotees were quite impressed. Wow, look how much devotion they have. He said, yes, but their devotion is not the same as ours. They only have any respect for Srimati Radhika because of her connection to Krishna. He said, but our vision is completely the opposite. We only have any connection to Krishna because of his connection to Srimati Radhika. Yes, these were the words of our Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. This is the mood, the intrinsic, deep mood of the Rupanuga Vaishnavas, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, those following in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami. So now we will call out to Srimati Radhika for her mercy. It was after 7. No problem. We've been discussing all of these pertinent points, which are very, very strongly related to the subject that we have been discussing. This is about greed for a particular connection in a particular rasa. And so it is essential to understand that to finally arrive at that kind of destination, Radha Dasyam or whatever our particular rasa is, we have to become one-pointed, exclusive. It means excluding all other kinds of attachments and ideas. Even Lakshmipati Vyomanayanim means even attachment, rati, for Nārayaṇa in Vaikuntha. This also has to be put to the side if we want to attain our final destination of Radha Dasyam, Braja Bhakti, of that mood. Katha Mukti Vyagra, even hearing the katha of liberation, Sayujya Mukti, or any kind of just liberation into Brahmajyoti, from Raghunath Das Goswami's perspective, this is Rupa Anuga. This becomes like the gaping mouth of a tiger that will devour you, take away everything. So this is also pushed to the side. And also the attachment to all of the other avatars. One-pointed exclusivity must come if we want to attain that particular destination, serving Radha and Krishna with a mood of extreme one-pointed, intense, greedy desire. So this would be Rag Bhakti, spontaneous loving devotion with intense greed, serving Radha and Krishna. Only this will be the qualification for us to enter into those pastimes and serve in those pastimes. Otherwise, we might end up going in any other location. So exclusivity, one-pointedness, greed, transcendental greed for that goal. All of these things are necessary. And that can only be awakened in the association of those persons who have it. That is our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. That is how it will be awakened. So it is essential for us to understand and know that. So now we're going to call for the mercy of Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radha Thakurani, and that would be page '. We're going to sing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari and Hare. Oh, we also have to do Damodarāṣṭakam. We're getting late. Yes, okay. So we'll sing Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite, page 341, I believe. And then Damodarāṣṭakam, then Hare Krishna, and then continuing with speaking. My password? Whose password? What? Someone's typing it too easily. Extreme, one-pointed, intense, greedy desire. Yes. 341. Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Damodarāti Vardhano Veshe Harini Shuta Vrindavipineshe Damodarāti Vardhano Veshe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Vrishabhanudadhi Tava Shashi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe Vrishabhanudadhi Tava Shashi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe Jayo Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Karunam Gurumayi Karuna Bharite Sannako Sanatano Varnita Charite Karunam Gurumayi Karuna Bharite Sannako Sanatano Varnita Charite Jayo Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Vrishabhananand Shrimati Radha Rani ki jai Shri Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. I'm not forgetting today. Next is Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, and you all already know the page number. But still, Lavangalata Didi will post it, just in case you forgot. Śrī Dāmodara ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Shalagram Shila ki jai, Ladu Gopala ki jai, Chotta Chotta Ladu Gopala ki jai. Bhairavi. Namamishwaram Sachi Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Goku
विराजमानम् यशोदाभियोलुकलाधावमानम् परां दृष्टं पत्यं ततो द्रुतगोप्या रुदन्तमुहुर्नेत्रं युग्मं मृजन्तम् कराम्भोज युग्मेन शातङ्कनेत्रम् मुहुश्वासकम्पत्रिरेखाङ्कखन्त स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भक्तिवधम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभि आनन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषमिमजन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् तदीयेषु भक्तैर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेम कष्टं शतावृत्तिवन्दे परं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा गच्छान्यमृन्नेहं परेशादपीह इदं ते वपुरनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्याभिलाषां किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्भोजम् अव्यक्तनीलये कृतं कुन्तलैस्निग्ध रक्तैश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनस्याभिलाषां वनं लक्षदाभये नमो देव दामोदरानन्द विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जालाब्धिमग्नम् कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानु गृहानेश मामव्यं मेध्यक्षिदृश्य कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मूर्त्यैव यद्व त्वयावोचितो भक्तिभाजो कृतो च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सकामे प्रयच्छ नमोक्षे ग्रहो मे श्री दामोदरेह नमस्ते स्तुदामे स्फुरदीप्तिधामे त्वदीयोदरायाथो विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् राधा दामोदर 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 जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर Śrī Radha Damodar Ju ki jai, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Now, as we said before, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Shri Shinnitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Today the cold is getting to my back. Excuse me. I'm sitting on the cushion, on the pillow. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktāya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namaham Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashakti Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashakti Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavana Dham. So now we are continuing with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. This beautiful treasure is manifested from the heart of Śrī Satyavrata Muni. It is written down in Padma Purana by Ved Vyas. This version has the commentary of Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, followed by the translation of that commentary by our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, included within that commentary, or that translation, is his own commentary, Bhav Anubhad, full of all transcendental emotions and sentiments. And that commentary is then followed by the commentary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Just absolutely stunning, rasik and bhavuk commentary. So this is not a book, this is the manifestation of the hearts of all of these divine personalities. So we'll pray first in the dust of their lotus feet, in the words of Śrī Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairāga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambudir Yapara Dukuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest itself within our hearts. So I just noticed a comment here, cannot hear Sudevi very loudly anymore. Prabhupada said background is necessary. So it's because we have this, I think you can hear it. One devotee recommended that we have a microphone directly plugged in from here to the phone so that everyone can hear better, although we've been doing it one way for a whole year. So with this right here, unless I'm not speaking, if I'm speaking at the same time, then my voice will be prominent. Otherwise, you can hear her okay. It picks her up, but not the same as just the general mic from the phone. So now we will continue with verse 5 of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Idam te mukham bojam avyaktanil lair vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaishcha gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam malam lakshalabhai namamishwaram sachidanandarupam lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam. I didn't realize it when I was sitting there next to Krishnadas day in and day out during Kartik, morning and evening, and he was leading this kirtan. I didn't realize how fancy that tune actually is. There's a lot of little refined humming bits in there, and it was just became natural and part of our singing. And then we recorded it once, and we were like, my God, that's a really fancy tune. The way they Krishnadas Prabhu would sing it, the way they sing it in the Gaudiya Math. Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam. And we were like, whoa, that's fancy. Anyhow, by being in association of those persons who are serving, even though it might seem impossible, but if we associate with Gurudev, if we associate with those whose hearts are flowing spontaneously, maybe it's so far above what we think is our qualification, but being in their association, under their guidance, and repetitively hearing from them, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, gradually, we will not even realize it, but something will be shifting inside. And that natural inclination and that natural training will take place, by which we won't even understand how it took place. How did that happen? I don't even know. How is it possible? We don't realize how much Gurudev and the Vaishnavas are doing for our benefit. Para dukkha dukhi. Their hearts bleed, it is said. Their hearts bleed upon seeing the suffering of the jivas in this world. And they're spending hundreds of gallons of their own life's blood energy. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, every selfless welfare worker of Gaudiya Math should be willing and ready to expend a minimum of 200 gallons of their own blood for the spiritual upliftment of each individual jiva of this world. How can they not if their hearts are breaking upon seeing our suffering condition? So they do whatever they can. They endeavor so much to give to us for our benefit. And Gurudev said, don't think that you have not made progress. You might not see it, but I can see that so much has been made. Just as a child doesn't realize that he's learning your language, He's picking it up by hearing. Learning how to write. Okay, there's some training there, but still, it's coming naturally. When you put that one child in a situation where there's only Hindi-speaking people and he picks up Hindi, and then you put him where there's only English and he picks up English, or Spanish, or Dutch. Or is that a little more difficult to learn? I don't know. But you place them in any situation and they pick it up naturally. And then they learn the culture, they learn the ways, they learn everything. So being under the guidance of Sri Guru, when he says, hold my little finger and don't let go, like this baby. Sudevi, can you share what Srila Gurudev told you that time when you approached him in Barshana that night?
Oh.
They can hear you if I'm not speaking.
Okay. So, I'll make a long story short. It has to do with Terkadamba and that beautiful Leela of Srimati Radhika coming and cooking for Sri Rupa and Sanatana Gosvāmīs. And in the end of this Leela, Sri Sanatana Gosvāmī says to Srila Rupa Goswami, why did you have this desire to give me sweet
Something's
rice?
burning. Do you have an iron on in there?
I have nothing on.
Okay, just checking. Sorry.
They're cooking downstairs.
Maybe, okay.
Hare Krishna's in fire, it's a fear. So, where was I?
Sweet rice. He had a desire to give sweet rice.
You shouldn't desire anything. Do you want that our Swamini should serve us or we should serve her? So then they both lamented but ecstatically took that sweet rice. So I went back to Gurudev. It was 9 o'clock in the evening and I was sitting outside his door crying. And I didn't knock on the door because no one gets a darshan that late. Should I make it really quick? Yeah. Anyway, so Gurudev looked at me after he asked me what was going on, and I told him. He just said that he said.
Wait, tell about him. He was sitting there chanting. Start from there.
I don't know what you want me
That
to
part.
tell.
That part from he was sitting there chanting.
He was sitting there chanting, and let me just get back in the mood. He was sitting there chanting, and he looked at me and he asked me what. And so I told him the whole story of Terkadamba, and he said yes. And I said, I realize that I can't serve you, that I'm in hopeless debt, there's no way I can serve you. And he said, oh, you should see right now that you are a tiny baby, like just born, newborn baby. He said, is there any, he said, quite naked. And then he said, is there any harm in the father serving his daughter in such a way? And he said, you should see that I am making you so qualified that one day you will serve me so much. So basically he was saying that we're all like helpless babies passing all over ourselves without any real hope, but actually he's making us qualified even if we don't understand it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudevi. So that point is very... Rup Charan said he couldn't hear you. Not very loudly. So they heard you. So this is very important, this point, that we don't necessarily have the qualification and we don't even realize what Gurudev is doing for us. But he's making us qualified, even in a state of maybe we're ignorant of it, but still, by his association, by his training, by his mercy, qualification is coming, whether we realize it or not. But he can see that so much progress has been made. So for us, this is essential to always be under the guidance of and associate with the pure devotees, Sri Guru and Shiksha Guru, the pure Vaishnavas. By this, gradually and automatically, all kinds of transcendental abilities in service will manifest naturally in that association. So now we're going to continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam idam te mukham bojam avyakta nilaya. So yesterday we read from Srila Gurudev how Sri Guru has the capacity to detect the intrinsic nature of our Atma, our soul. Just like Paramatma, inside, Guru has the special characteristic of perfectly knowing our heart. He knows the eternal constitutional mood of our soul, our eternal relationship with Bhagavan, and accordingly, he connects us with Bhagavan, with Krishna. By supplying the necessary nutrients, this is Shravan and Kirtan, by giving Harikatha, and by us hearing that Harikatha and also repeating that Harikatha or Hari Kirtan, by that our tendency to serve Krishna is more and more awakened and nourished. So then Srila Gurudev came to the point of the Satyavrata Muni's obsession with the beautiful lips of Krishna. So the way Sri Krishna's lips have been compared to the red bimba fruits. Although red ripened bimba fruit is extremely soft and beautiful, in reality, it is far excelled by the softness and beauty of Krishna's lips. Still, even though Sri Krishna's lips are so beautiful, he constantly hankers to drink the nectar of the lips of his beloved gopis. Then what must their lips be like? The most clear example of how Krishna hankers to drink the nectar of the gopis' lips is found in Brahmar Gita, in the conversation between Srimati Radhika and a bumblebee. So yesterday we read that verse and the translation. And now Srila Gurudev is giving an enhanced version of this translation. Srimati Radhika spoke these words to the bumblebee in intense separation from Krishna. "O bumblebee, messenger of Sri Krishna," she said, "your master knew that when he would leave us in the future to go to Mathura and elsewhere, we, the young damsels of Braj, would die from being separated from him. He likes to see us writhing in the pain of separation so much that he forcefully made us drink the nectar of his lips just once for only a few moments. He knew that death cannot come to anyone who drinks that nectar, and he knew that later, unable to die from the pain of separation, we would simply, I think the pronunciation is writhe or writhe, in agony. Right, it's called Adharamrit, the nectar of his lips. But Amrit means also immortality. Mrit means death, and Amrit means immortal. So the nectar, it also is, interestingly, this word, Amrit, also means nectar. So it is the opposite of death. So she's saying that he knew that if we drank the nectar of his lips, we would not be able to die, and yet he left us. So we're only in a situation now where in intense separation, we're only in deep, desperate agony. There's this prayer we sang at Udhav Kund. Like fish out of water. They cannot breathe. They're suffocating. And they're flopping this way and that way. But they're not dying. So she's saying this to the bumblebee, that he likes to see us in such a situation, in intense separation, feeling such pain but not being able to leave. He knew that later, unable to die from the pain of separation, we would simply writhe in agony. Sri Krishna's eyes, his eyebrows, his smile, and his lips are the sharp arrows of Cupid. Now we should understand that Srimati Radhika is expressing her bhavs to the bumblebee. But we should also understand that this is nothing ordinary it is nothing material. This sounds like Krishna is a really, really mean person. But when we're hearing about Radha and Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna and Braj, First of all, we should understand that everything is of Krishna and everything is for his purpose. Even these moods that Srimati Radhika is expressing, these are for his purpose. They're for his pleasure, ultimately. And so as she's expressing what she's expressing, this doesn't mean that we should look upon him in a disdainful way, critical way, or anything like that. We should understand that the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, Srimati Radhika, the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda, the cowherd boys, all of Vrindavan, all of this is all transcendental. It is not mundane of this world at all. And the experience of separation from Krishna in that transcendental state, our Gurudev has explained, and so have all of our acharyas, dances on the heads of all kinds of ananda of this world, meaning the most blissful experience that anyone could possibly have within any material universe or creation. This is absolutely nothing, even compared to the separation moods of the associates of the Lord. They have their meeting and their separation, sambhog and vipralambha. And within that separation, there is a special kind of very unique, deep meeting, viraha, special meeting. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja gave an example in this connection. It's a little morbid, but anyhow, it will give us some kind of idea. He spoke about a family who has a dear, beloved child. That child is so beloved by his parents. But still, if he leaves his stuff on the floor, leaves his clothes on the floor, leaves things around, then they sometimes would express annoyance with him. Hey, we told you to clean it up, make your bed, clean that up, do this, do that, go to school. And in a normal daily occurrence, it might be like this. But if that child were to somehow depart from this world prematurely, in a state of brokenheartedness, there will be constant absorption and remembrance of that child. And anything which was previously a cause for annoyance will be a cause for extreme, acute remembrance. This was his pencil. This is his last, this is the notebook he was writing in. This is his clothes that he always used to lie on the floor. I long for the day when he will throw his clothes on the floor again. And so any little thing will be more deep, will create a situation of more deep kind of meeting in that separation than even when they were physically present. Then everything, every little thing becomes a source of acute remembrance. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja gave this example. I am not able to tell it nearly as proficiently as he would, but I think you would get the point. So, in a similar way, we should understand that the transcendental pastimes of Krishna and the gopis, this is all beyond any material consideration. So from a transcendental perspective, they might be able to criticize Krishna. Why not? They say, Lampato, he's lampat, he's a cheater. Chor, he's a thief. As Srimati Radhika is also making some kind of complaint here, talking to the bumblebee. But we should understand that that is all on the transcendental platform. It has nothing to do with the mundanity of this material world. It is essential that we understand that, especially when we are discussing these points. Otherwise, we can make big aparad, great offense. When we first came to our Gurudev, there was one devotee who misunderstood and literally took a picture of Radha and Krishna and ripped it in half and said they didn't need the Krishna part and they only had the Radhika part. But they were also in a state of mundane consciousness. Our mood is not to separate Radha and Krishna. Our mood is how to bring them together. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugala Milan. This is glorified. Their beautiful meeting is glorified. No one wants to see them separated. But for the purpose of increasing Krishna's transcendental eagerness and the gopis' transcendental eagerness, by any arrangement, there is some separation. And within that separation, there is such a tension, transcendental tension, that the remembrance, the longing is increased and intensified to such an extent that when meeting again takes place, it is, you can say, more and more and more perfect. This happens in all of the pastimes. When the demons take Krishna, Putana took Krishna, Trinavarta took Krishna, Shakatasura tried to crush Krishna. And when the reunion came, it was so much sweeter. Also, when Krishna pulled down these two trees, well, the twin trees, Yamal Arjun trees, in the courtyard of his home, with the grinding mortar pulling behind him, at that time, Mother Yashoda became stunned. She just didn't know what to do. These trees had collapsed and she didn't want to see, didn't want to think about it. She was completely in shock. And even Nanda Baba didn't speak with her. He was upset with her. Krishna didn't want to see her. And at that point, that separation was breaking her heart. And a tension was taking place. And when that meeting, the reuniting, came back together, it was so beautiful and sweet. When Rohini Maya said to baby Krishna, because he's like, I don't want to see her. Well, who will feed you? Nanda Baba will feed me? Where will you sleep? I'll sleep with Nanda Baba, with his dad. Well, how will you get anything? Where will you get milk from? Oh, the cows will give me milk. And then Rohini Maya said, and what if, in India they say, Ram Nam Satya Hai. This was a nationalist party slogan, but also when anyone leaves this world, they say like this. So what if? Immediately Krishna felt the possibility of impending permanent separation. He began weeping loudly, crying for his mother. And at that time, already Yashoda was weeping. All began weeping, and Rohini Maya brought Krishna and put him on the lap of Yashoda. And with that reunion, there was such a sweet exultation of transcendental bliss. But the viraha, or the vipralamba, is actually not unblissful. It is the other side of the same coin of transcendental bliss and happiness. It nourishes that. So, I just wanted to make sure that we don't make the offense or the aparad of now, especially in our stage, disrespecting or criticizing Krishna. We don't have that qualification at this point. One day it might be. One day it might be. So let me finish this. Sri Krishna's eyes, his eyebrows, his smile, and his lips are the sharp arrows of Cupid. Once someone has seen them, he will remain wounded forever. Devotees who cultivate Raganuga Bhakti. Hare Krishna. Devotees who cultivate Raganuga Bhakti. Bhakti following in the wake of Ragatmika Bhakti. Who cultivate Raganuga Bhakti. Yes. Bhakti in the wake of Ragatmika Bhakti. Or who are Rupanuga, followers of Sri Rupa Gosvāmī. Remember all of these moods of Srimati Radhika in separation as they perform their sadhana, and thus lose all awareness of their bodies, their homes, and so on. So while those Rupanuga Vaishnavas, following in the mood or the line of Rupa Gosvāmī, or those who are Raganugas, following after any Ragatmika associate, while remembering these separation moods, especially of Srimati Radhika, they also enter into such a deep state of connectedness, mamata, feeling of possessiveness to that personality, to that divine transcendental person, that they also become completely consumed in that, and they lose all awareness of anything external. This reminds me of that verse, Tunde Tandavani Ritim Vitanute. There,
Cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim. Means all of the senses become inert by that intense absorption. When Srila Gurudev would be sitting there speaking on any subject of separation mood, and tears would be flowing from his eyes, and you would see his heart. It would be like, it was almost like seeing his heart breaking. There was not a dry eye in the room because we were all feeling for him. I remember once he had a lung infection and he was coughing and mucus was coming, and I just remember my heart, every time he would even cough a little bit, I'd be like this. And I was also desiring, give that to me so that you can be fine. And you would see, especially Madhav Maharaj, how he would be. Any little thing and he would be like, this connectedness. So when someone is remembering these separation moods of Srimati Radhika for Krishna, and they're on that level, where they're able to understand and appreciate that fully, then they won't be able to maintain any consideration for anything externally in this world. They will simply weep, they will cry, and they will be so absorbed, they won't even be aware of what's going on outside. Jatan evam vratasva priyanāmakitya jatanurago drichachitta uchai hasatyito roti tiroti gayat yunmadavan nrityati lokabhaya. Completely unaware, indifferent to what anyone else has to say or what they will do or anything like that. Fully absorbed in those transcendental pastimes. All I can say is, Kabe habe bolo sedina amar. When, oh when will that day be mine? When, oh when will that day be ours? When, under the guidance of such a personality, whose heart is flowing like that, in deep absorption, remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna and his transcendental associates, especially Srimati Radhika, that we can also develop a mood like theirs. Goro more atmasat. O Guru, make me yours, make me like you. Please engage me in your service and engage me in the loving service of Shri Shri, Radha and Krishna. So now it's getting late. We will continue tomorrow. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Sorry.
Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Guru Varga ki jai, Padiparam Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ji ki jai, Radha Ramanuja ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedānta ki jai, Hidai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol. Janardhan Prabhu, it's Chandan and it's Braj style. If you come to Vrindavan, you see this. Also the red signifies the dust of the gopis and in particular the manjaris and a particular gopi. So I first paint her feet and then Krishna has her foot dust or foot paint, foot lac on his head.
But you didn't know that. She first painted Srimati Radhika's feet, and then the remnant of that went right where Krishna wants it, right here. So, thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Also, we are indebted to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Srila Gurudev. For that, we cannot repay you. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. One thing I wanted to share, if the microphone had a buzz, it might be because the electricity cut out.
It did a couple of times.
And we have a backup battery system, but it might not be giving a proper phase, so you might hear a buzz, but please don't mind it. Okay, so we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai.
Jai.
Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai.
Char says new mic doesn't work better. Thing is, we're moving soon and we need to make sure that we don't disturb the neighbors. So it's a thing. Sorry, we'll try to figure it out. Dandavat Pranam.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.